I bought the lake property for one reason and one reason only: the water. 40 acres of clean, spring-fed lake wrapped around my land like a private moat. No public ramps, no shared docks, just me, my house, and my boat, a 32-foot cabin cruiser I'd saved for most of my adult life to own. What I didn't buy into, at least not knowingly, was the Silver Pines Recreation Club, an HOA-adjacent social group that claimed lake privileges because several of their members' backyards touched a narrow inlet downstream. They didn't own the lake. They didn't maintain it. But they sure acted like they ran it. That became painfully clear one Tuesday morning when I heard the sound of an engine I didn't recognize coming down my private gravel drive. I stepped out onto the dock with my coffee just in time to see a tow truck backing toward my boat. Behind it stood a woman in oversized sunglasses, a sun visor, and an expression so tight it looked stapled to her face. Clipboard tucked under her arm. "You can't park that here," she said before I even reached the end of the dock. "I live here," I replied. She sighed dramatically, already checking boxes on her clipboard. "That vessel exceeds the size limits established by the Silver Pines Recreation Club. Boats over 24 feet are prohibited." I laughed, genuinely thinking she was joking. "This isn't your lake." She finally looked up. "Excuse me?" "This is private property," I said, pointing to the shoreline markers. "Every inch of water you're looking at belongs to me." She scoffed. "We've always used this lake, and that boat is an eyesore. It disrupts the aesthetic and reduces access for kayaks and paddleboards." I took a slow sip of coffee. "So you called a tow truck?" "Yes," she said proudly. "And if you don't cooperate, you'll be fined as well." That's when the tow driver leaned over and quietly asked, "Ma'am, are you sure this isn't private land?" Her jaw tightened. "I'm very sure." I pulled out my phone and opened the county property map. One look at the screen and the driver's face changed. He shut off the engine. "I'm not touching this," he said. "This is a civil nightmare." The woman spun toward me, furious. "This isn't over." She was right, it wasn't. But not for the reason she thought. By Thursday afternoon, word had spread through Silver Pines faster than algae in July. I knew because my phone wouldn't stop buzzing with calls from numbers I didn't recognize. Every voicemail followed the same pattern: clipped politeness, passive-aggressive concern, and an unmistakable undertone of authority from people who didn't have any. The woman from the dock, her name was Linda, I learned, was the president of the Silver Pines Recreation Club. Not the HOA itself, but close enough that most residents didn't know the difference. According to her, the lake was a shared community resource, despite the fact that my deed, the county records, and 3 separate surveys said otherwise. Linda didn't care about paperwork, she cared about control. That Saturday morning, I woke up to find 6 kayaks tied to my dock. 6. Blocking my boat slip like some kind of passive-aggressive art installation. I stood there in my robe, staring at them, when Linda's voice floated across the water. "You're welcome," she called from the shore. "For what?" I asked. "For letting the community use the lake responsibly," she said, hands on hips. "We voted last night." I blinked. "You voted on my lake?" "Yes," she said brightly. "And since your boat is non-compliant, it will need to be removed by the end of the month." That's when I realized this wasn't ignorance. It was entitlement mixed with groupthink, the most dangerous cocktail an HOA can brew. I untied every kayak and gently pushed them back toward the inlet where they'd come from. No damage, no drama, just physics. Linda gasped like I'd thrown puppies into traffic. "You can't do that!" "I just did," I said. She stormed off, muttering about lawyers, assessments, and emergency meetings. And she wasn't bluffing. By Monday, I received a certified letter from Silver Pines' attorney claiming the club had historic usage rights to the lake and that my boat violated community standards. Historic usage rights on a lake dug in the 1980s. So I hired my own attorney, a quiet, brilliant woman who specialized in property and water rights. She smiled the entire time she read their letter. "This is adorable," she said. "They're about to learn a very expensive lesson." Meanwhile, Linda escalated. She organized lake days without permission, Loud music, inflatable docks drifting into my shoreline. She even tried calling the county sheriff, who showed up, checked the deed, apologized to me, and left. That's when Linda snapped. She scheduled an emergency vote to suspend my lake privileges on a lake I owned. I decided it was time to stop reacting and start ending this. The emergency meeting was held in the Silver Pines clubhouse, a beige building with folding chairs, a flickering projector, and the faint smell of burnt coffee. I showed up 10 minutes early, wearing jeans and a calm smile that Linda clearly mistook for nerves. The room was packed. Dozens of residents sat shoulder to shoulder, whispering about boat violations and fair access. Linda stood at the front like a general preparing for battle, her clipboard clutched tightly, her confidence inflated by the echo chamber she'd built. She called the meeting to order and launched straight into it. "As you all know," she began, "one resident has chosen to ignore our community standards and disrupt the shared enjoyment of our lake." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the room. She clicked to a slide showing a blurry photo of my boat. A red circle had been drawn around it like evidence in a crime show. "This vessel is oversized, unsafe, and intimidating. It violates the spirit of Silver Pines." I raised my hand. Linda sighed. "Questions at the end?" "I think this counts as clarification," I said, standing anyway. Her jaw tightened. "Fine, be brief." I walked to the front and plugged in a flash drive. The screen changed. Gone was the photo of my boat. In its place, a county parcel map clearly outlining my property in bold blue lines. The lake, every inch of it, was inside those lines. "This lake," I said evenly, "is not shared. It is not common property. It is not under Silver Pines' authority." Linda laughed sharply. "That's your interpretation." "Actually," I said, clicking again, "it's the county's." I displayed my deed, the original water rights filing, and a signed statement from the county assessor confirming exclusive ownership. Then came the real blow, a letter from my attorney. "I'm formally revoking any implied access the Silver Pines Recreation Club claims to have," I read aloud, "effective immediately." The room went silent. Linda's face flushed. "You can't do that!" "I already did," I said, "and here's the part you might want to sit down for." I clicked again. Up popped photos, dozens of them, club-organized events, unauthorized docks, fire pits, alcohol, all on my land, all documented. "These constitute trespassing," I continued, "which I've generously ignored until now." Someone in the back whispered, "Oh no!" "And finally," I said, "because the club attempted to tow my property and levy fines without authority, my attorney has filed for an injunction and damages." Linda looked around, searching for support. None came. A man near the front stood up. "Linda, you said the lake was community-owned." She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. The meeting dissolved into chaos. I unplugged my drive, nodded politely, and walked out. Behind me, the Silver Pines Recreation Club began to sink. Fast. The injunction hit Silver Pines the following week like a thunderclap. Overnight, laminated lake access signs went up around the shoreline, all clearly marked private property. No trespassing. The county approved every single one. Linda tried to have them removed. The county told her not to touch them. That alone would have ended things for most people. Not Linda. She attempted one last power play. A farewell lake day. Flyers went up. Group texts exploded. Someone even tried to organize a pontoon parade in protest. Unfortunately for them, my attorney had already anticipated this. The morning of the event, 2 sheriff's deputies parked at the gravel entrance. Polite, calm, unmovable. Anyone attempting to access the water was turned away. Anyone already on it was escorted off. No tickets, no shouting. Just quiet, undeniable enforcement of the law. Linda arrived mid-morning, visor in place, fury radiating off her like heat. She marched straight toward me at the dock. "You're destroying this community," she snapped. I didn't raise my voice. "I'm protecting my property. This lake has been the heart of Silver Pines for years." "No," I said. "It's been a privilege you confused for a right." She threatened appeals, media, the HOA board. None of it mattered. The club's insurance dropped them once the trespassing documentation surfaced. Their attorney withdrew, and without lake activities, the Silver Pines Recreation Club lost nearly all its members within a month. The final nail came quietly. Linda was voted out. No dramatic speech, no farewell. Just a short email announcing the dissolution of the club due to legal and financial constraints. The lake went silent again. Now my mornings are peaceful. No kayaks tied to my dock, no clipboards, no tow trucks, just the soft slap of water against the hull of a boat that was never too big, only too honest a reminder that ownership still means something. Every now and then I'll see former club members walking the perimeter, looking out at the water like it's a memory they misplaced. I don't gloat. I just wave. Because the lake was never theirs to lose. And the best part? I didn't kick them out. They voted themselves off my lake. Enjoying this HOA showdown and how it all played out? Stick around by subscribing for more real-life property disputes, entitlement stories, and legal turnarounds like this one. If this story made you shake your head or smile, give it a like and drop a comment below. Was the HOA out of line, or should the boat rules have applied anyway?